Today's session is about Part Search app and making your website work for you. We briefly discussed the Part Search app, and Cole brought up some key points previously. And in this session, I'm going to get into the details of the service. I'm going to show you everything about the Part Search app and how you can effectively use it to maximize your company revenue. My name is Maury Larijani. I've been with Component Control for almost about 2 years now, and I'm in charge of all the sales activity for stockmarket.aero. Our team members include Stephen Powell, manager of Stock Market, myself, Michelle Russell, which is in charge of content and uploading spreadsheets from non-quantum vendors to the Stock Market website, Anik Langlois, she's a design specialist for Stock Market, and she handles all the logos and banner ads that you see on the website. She does a great job, so if anyone wants to make any changes to their logo, banner, any design, she can handle that. Also Luke Brown, he's a technical support specialist, so if anyone has any technical issues with Stock Market or Quantum, you can get in contact with him. Now in today's panel include obviously myself, Cole Davison, CTO of Component Control, Stephen Powell, manager of Stock Market. Again, Luke Brown and Marissa Gualda, she's ambassador for the Miami area. And let's go ahead and get started. So in this session, first of all, I'm going to show you guys what the Part Search app is, what it can accomplish for your business, and we're going to go over all the features of the service that we offer to our clients. Secondly, we're going to show you how to effectively use this tool on your website, where to manage the information and data that's displaying, how to manage that data, and also the RFQ template with the QCC file, which we discussed earlier, and I'm going to cover it again with you today here. We're also going to talk about the implementation process and how easy and simple it is to get this search feature up and running on your website. We're going to talk about the custom link that we're going to provide to you, and we're going to go through the process of how to get this link installed on the website for you. We're also going to cover some very effective yet simple techniques to increase traffic back to the Part Search app on your website or your website in general using email blast. I'm sure most of you are familiar with it, email signatures, Facebook, and banner ads, which I'm going to go ahead and cover in more detail here with you shortly. So first of all, what is the Part Search app? Part Search app is a web application that allows you to effectively list your inventory on your company website and receive requests for quotes and purchase orders directly from your site automatically 24/7 in real time. Okay? I'm sure most of you know and are familiar with this search link. It's exactly the search feature that we have on the Stock Market website. However, it's only visible to your inventory, and that's the only thing that's going to be showcased here, not your competitors. By implementing a search feature to your website, you're making your website open for business 24/7. Okay? Now I'm going to go ahead and show you a live example here shortly of one of our clients that's effectively used this tool to turn their website into a modern e-commerce marketplace. Now that we know what the Part Search app is, let's go ahead and cover some of the key features of the service. Obviously, you can list your inventory quickly and easily on your site, RFQs and purchase orders directly from your website. And this service is also hosted using Component Control Cloud. And what that means is that any changes that are made within Quantum is going to automatically reflect on the search feature. So you guys don't have to go back and forth editing, your inventory capability listing that you have listed on the site. Everything, again, automatically gets transferred to the site. This service also displays all the stockmarket.aero listings. And what that means is that any stock line or capabilities that are visible to stockmarket.aero website are also going to be showcased within the search results for this feature. Now, how many of you list inventory on stock market? Can you please raise your hand? Okay, so most of you do, but for those of you who are not familiar on how to do that, I'm going to also cover that shortly and how to make parts and capabilities visible to stock market. Again, when the parts and capabilities are visible to stock market, they're going to be showcased on the search feature as well. Now, another cool feature of this service is the option of pre-pricing inventory and receiving purchase orders directly from your website. Again, this is completely optional, and it's up to you if you like to do that. And I'm going to cover that with you on where we can set pricing and all that information here shortly as well. This service has a lot of cool features, but my favorite is the ability to receive requests for quotes for the parts that are not in stock, which is really, really cool. And obviously it's self-explanatory, and I'm going to cover that with you shortly. But when buyers do a search for a part or capability that you don't have in stock, they still get the chance to send the RFQ to you, and that way you can get in contact with them. But most importantly, the relationship with the buyer doesn't get lost just because you don't have a specific part in stock. Now, how many of you are familiar with document imaging or use document imaging? Okay, most of you do. But for those of you who don't know what document imaging is, document imaging module allows you to attach pictures and files, contracts, or anything related to the stock line in Quantum. And by doing this, you're offering your customers value. You're showcasing the part information, description, if you like, the pricing option, and also everything related to that stock line. So when buyers are on your website, they can search available inventory, get all the information on that specific part, and they can send you a request for quote, or if they're serious, they can also pick up the phone, just give you a quick call since it's on your website. Now, doing this consistently over time will add value to your customers, and it will give them a reason to go to your website and to obviously get more information, and most importantly, use the services that you offer to them. And by doing this and accomplishing this process, you're turning your website into a modern e-commerce marketplace. Okay? Now, one of a good example of one of our clients that's effectively done this and turned his website into a, again, modern e-commerce marketplace is Standard Aero. Standard Aero was founded in 1911 and has become the world's aerospace industry's largest independent maintenance, repair, and overhaul. And we're going to go ahead and bring up the company website live to do a demonstration here. By clicking on the picture, we go straight back to their company website. It's a live website again. I'm going to show you how we got here. Under Custom Solutions, Parts, Searchable Parts Catalog. By clicking on it, you get the search page here on their website. Now this search page, as you can see, the toolbar on the top is blue. We can make it consistent with your website. And there's also some other cool features here that you can use to narrow down the search as well, by allowing partial matches or even doing an advanced search and choosing description or a specific vendor, condition, and obviously the part number. Now, when buyers visit the website, there's only a couple scenarios which I'm going to cover. Number one, they're going to search for a stock line. Secondly, they're going to search for capability. And lastly, like I mentioned earlier, my favorite part is when a part is not in stock. So I'm going to go ahead and cover all those three steps with you here. And let's go ahead and start with stock lines. So I have a part number here that I'm going to do a search. Very easy. Just type in the part number. And you can see what they have available. You can see quantity, condition, description, manufacturer code, alternate part number, serial number, and most importantly, send RFQ or place a purchase order. Now, I wanted to mention all these boxes are customizable. So if you like to show a serial number, you can do that. If you don't, then you don't necessarily have to. And we can work with you on what kind of information you like to display to your end users. Now, let's go ahead and try to send an RFQ. One thing I'd like to point out here is that just like stockmarket.aero website, you can search for any parts without being logged in. But when you want to send an RFQ or a purchase order, that's when you must be logged into the stock market website, and by having an account, obviously you can log in. We do this to make sure that the RFQs and purchase orders you're receiving are legitimate and not just waste of time. So I'm going to go ahead and log in here. I'm going to search for the part number one more time. You can simply click on Send RFQ, and this is the window that opens up. You can choose quantity, priority, high, AOG, or any comments you like to input here as well. Now, on the same browser, Windows browser, you can view vendor profile information, contact details. A lot of buyers, what they do, instead of sending an RFQ, when they see your contact details, they just pick up the phone and give you a call. So that's where they find your contact information in addition to your website. And also, obviously, the part detail. And to send an RFQ, it's as easy as submitting an RFQ. Not sure why. Not sure why it's not. What's that? Yeah, submitting RFQ, I'm not sure what's happening here, but when you submit the RFQ, that goes straight. You send the request for quote or purchase order. Now, let's go ahead and search for a capability that StandardAero advertises on the search feature. Now, I wanted to also point out that you have complete control over what kind of information you display on the search feature. And again, I'm going to cover that here shortly with you, but you can see here that StandardAero has capability to distribute and also repair this part. Now, the last case scenario is when a specific part is not in stock, and we're just going to go ahead and type in A100. Hopefully they don't have it. And you can see, although the part is not in stock, buyers still get the chance to send them their information. And this way, the connection with the potential buyer doesn't get lost, again, just because a specific part is not in stock. And you guys can decide to get back to them or not. Now, there's many clients that have effectively used this tool to, again, turn their website into a modern e-commerce marketplace. StandardAero is one of them. And I'm going to show you guys two more examples of our clients that have effectively used this search feature on their site. But before I get into that, I want to point out that it's very important where you place the search feature on your website. You want to make sure that it's visible and easy for your buyers to find it. And you also want to give them reasons to click on the search feature and to actively do a search. So where you place the search feature is very important, and I'm going to cover here shortly with you on the details of how to implement the search feature and how easy it is to get it done. Here are some examples of just a few of our clients using the search feature and again transforming their website into an e-commerce marketplace and turning their website into the centerpiece of all their marketing. Let's go ahead and click on Polygon Aerospace. And you can see they have a very nice creative way of getting their buyers' attention to click on the search feature. They have a portal here and also the part search app, which is where we would like to be. And you can see it's very clean, very easy to find on their website. And most importantly, it gives your buyers a service and it provides value. I'd like to cover show you another example here of our client that's using this service again on their website. Aviation, I'm sure most of you have heard of this name. They were founded in 1994, and they're recognized for quality and traceability of aircraft engine aftermarket. And you can see when you visit their website, it's very easy to find under parts, current available inventory. So again, very easy to find for buyers, and that's the goal. You want to make it visible to them. Okay, now that we know what the part search app is, let's go ahead and talk about the implementation process and again how easy it is to get this up and running on your company website. Okay, before we do that, I'm actually going to cover where to manage this information within Quantum and as far as stock lines and capabilities. So I asked earlier how many of you know how to flag stock lines in stock market, and most of you said yes. For those of you who don't, under master part, if you inspect a stock line, you get this window. And the highlighted areas are where you can pre-price your inventory. Again, this is optional, like I mentioned earlier. This is where you pre-price your inventory, and again, you can receive purchase orders directly from your website. And most importantly, you want to make sure that the stock line is visible to stock market by checking that box. And when that box is checked, not only this part will be visible to stock market, but it will also show on the search feature as well. You can also list capabilities like I showed you earlier. Now instead of inspecting the master part, you edit the master part. And again, you want to make sure that the box is checked to upload part capabilities to stock market. And we have 6 different descriptions: manufacturing, overhaul, distribution, certification, exchange, and repair. And if you want to get more in detail about the specifics of description, you can provide information in this area as well. Now, we touched on the QCC file earlier in the earlier session. Again, I'm going to cover it here because it's very important and it's a very effective tool that will help your company save time, money, and also streamlining the process for you. Now, this is an email format that you receive when a buyer sends you an RFQ from the search feature. You can see there's 2 attachments: QCC file and fax quote. The QCC file is what I'm going to cover right now, and by double-clicking on the QCC file, this is the window that you get. Now, the QCC file will import all the information that was listed on the quote directly into Quantum. So you don't have to go manually import all that information one by one into Quantum. Imagine getting hundreds of RFQs a day and have to manually importing that information. It's going to take a lot of time, and This way you eliminate any chance of human error, and obviously, most importantly, you save time and money. Again, by double-clicking on the QCC file, this is the window you get. And by clicking yes, all the information from the quote gets imported into Quantum, and from Quantum you can get back to them. Okay. Now that we know what Part Search app is, what it can do for you, where you can manage the information, let's go ahead and talk about how easy it is to get this up on your website and get it going. So first, I like to get my clients started with a trial period with no commitment, just to make sure that they have an experience using the service and to ensure that this fits their needs. Now, like I mentioned earlier in the session, the Part Search app is a private custom link to your inventory that gets placed in an iframe. Now, how many of you know what iframe is? Perfect. Okay. Well, iframe pretty much enables you to adjust the dimensions of the search feature on your website and to make it look consistent with your website. Now, we create the private link for you. We place it in the iframe, and we provide that link to you or your webmaster. And it's as easy as copying and pasting the iframe link to the back end of your website. Once that's done, you publish it. The search feature is going to be showcased on the site. Now, for some people, it might be hard to get a hold of their webmaster, or the webmaster charges quite a bit to get this search feature up and running. In that case, if you can provide us with the user access to the back end of the website, we can go ahead and implement the search feature for you, include in the cost, and it would be the same-day implementation. Like I mentioned, it's very easy to implement, and all we need is a user pass for the website, and we take care of it all for you. Also, to get more information on the search feature and how to get started with the trial period, you can click on the link and we'll go straight back to the company website. You can also see a sample video, or you can input your information and we will get in contact with you with more information on the feature. Okay. Now that we know Part Search app is, what it can do for your business, how to effectively manage the data, let's talk about the other half of the equation, which is traffic. Again, website is a website is a website. If no one's going to your website, what's the point of having one? You got to make sure that buyers and visitors go to your website, not only to get information on your company, but also for them to be interactive and using the services that you offer on your website. So I'm going to cover a couple key points and simple ways to increase website traffic today. First of all is email blasts. I'm sure all of you know what an email blast is, and most of you have built your book of business and sphere of influence during many years in the industry. So by sending an email blast to them and letting them know that you have this service available on your website and encouraging them to visit your website and using this, you can increase your exposure and traffic. Again, it's just simple email to your book of business, letting them know that you offer the service and mentioning that they can go straight to the website rather than visiting Stock Market, PartSpace, or ILS. So they can go straight to your website and search your available inventory and not any of your competitors. Now, secondly, email signatures. This is, again, a very simple tool that a lot of users don't know about and don't effectively use it to increase their website traffic. I had the pleasure of working with Ismar from prestigious Aviation. They're based out of Fort Lauderdale, and they are in the business of selling spares to the commercial aviation markets. Now you can see here, this is an email This is actually his email, and you can see his contact information, and most importantly and exciting, you can see the live part search that he's implemented on his email signature. Now, you can see he's offering his clients to search his active stock line by clicking on the live part search. So when customers click on the logo live part search, they get redirected back to his company website to search his available inventory. Now, the search feature on the website is hyperlinked to the logo, just to be clear. So that's how buyers get redirected back to the website, by hyperlinking the search page to the logo. And let's say you send out 200 emails a day. Even if 10% click on the logo and go back to your website, that's still 20 customers visiting your website. That's still better than nothing, right? Yes, I'm sure it is. And if you do that in the long run, that's where you're going to notice an increase in the traffic that you've received by just simply taking advantage of these simple yet effective tools and techniques to redirect traffic. Here's a logo that we can also provide to you when you sign up for the Part Search app. Another key way to generate exposure and, most importantly, redirect traffic to your website is also using banner ads on the stock market website. Now I'm going to show you guys how this works and how cool it is on the website. So I'm going to click on this part number, which is hyperlinked to the stock market website. And you can see Worthington MRO's banner on the right-hand side of stockmarket.aero. Now, Worthington was founded in 1998. They're the leader and trusted source in aviation aftermarket parts. And I had the pleasure of working with Mr. Paul Stewart, CTO of Worthington and also president of Q Group, and to enhance their online presence on stock market and also gain more exposure on their inventory. You can see that Worthington is listed #1 on the search results, which is our parts sponsoring service. If anyone needs more information on that, they can talk to me after the session, or they can visit the website for this. And you can also see the banner ad. Now, I'm going to go ahead and type in this part number one more time. So we're going to go home like we're doing a search. And as you can see, anytime any buyer searches for this specific part number, Worthington MRO Center's banner will appear on the website. So the part numbers are attached to the banner ads on the website. And as long as they have the banner going on, they're pretty much renting that part number for that time. So if you have a list of hot parts that you want to get more exposure on, this is a great way to do that. And most importantly, by clicking on the banner, there you go. By clicking on the banner, buyers get redirected back to their website in order to get more information on the company or just to use the search feature or the Quantum portal. So again, very effective way to gain more exposure and redirect the traffic we get on a daily basis back to your website. Now, for those of you who are wondering, what kind of traffic and what kind of statistics we have on stock market, you have average active daily search of around 20,000. Daily average vendor info clicks, around 10,626. And I mentioned serious buyers. Most of them, they send RFQs, but many of them actually pick up the phone and give you a call. And we have a system of tracking every time buyers click on the vendor contact details. So 10,626 average per day. That's a lot. And we have over 34,000 registered users on the stock market website. And we're getting close to 60 million parts and capabilities. So the amount of exposure you're going to generate with just a banner ad on a daily basis is significant. And over the course of time, you'll notice that your website is getting a lot more traction and people are using the search feature. So again, these are great ways to encourage buyers to go back to your website and to make your website a centerpiece of all your marketing. Facebook. I'm sure everyone knows what Facebook is, and Facebook is a really, really great tool to get exposure and to have an online presence. A lot of you I know don't have a Facebook business page, but I encourage you to create one. It's very easy. It has more functionalities than what a website can offer. And most importantly, there's 20 million aviation-specific users on Facebook. And 50% of them log in every single day. That's 10 million aviation professionals that are on Facebook every day. And that's where you want to be, and that's where you want to catch your attention. So make sure you have a Facebook business page. And one thing I'd like to point out here is that Facebook business pages are completely different than personal pages. Facebook business pages offer different functionalities as far as how you can reach out to your customers, promoting your site, and other very cool features that if anyone wants more information, they can talk to me after the session as well. So we want to make sure that your business page is completely separate than your personal page. You want to separate business from pleasure. So that's one key point to have in mind. Another incentive of having a Facebook business page is that it's public. And what that means is that it gets indexed by major search engines like Google. So you can rank above your competitors just by having a Facebook business page. And most importantly, you have to be active and make sure to post articles, related information about the aviation industry to keep your customers coming back and giving them a reason to visit your Facebook page. Again, just like your website, you have to offer some kind of value to them. They're just not going to go ahead and find your Facebook out of nowhere. You want to make sure you have that exposure in order to be successful. By implementing these simple and effective strategies, you're kind of making your website a centerpiece of your marketing and putting everything together and completing the package. Everywhere that you promote your business, you want to promote your website, your Facebook page. And the more you do this, the more you're going to start to get results from it. Some of the key players in the industry that use Facebook, as you can see, Pratt & Whitney, Bell Helicopter, GE Aviation, and you can see how active they are and how many likes they have on their Facebook page. And the more likes you have, the more exposure you're going to generate to your audience. So that's one thing you'll like to focus on, and giving your buyers a reason to come to your Facebook page and liking your page as well. So the more likes you have, the more exposure you're going to generate. Now, one thing I'd like to show everyone here that's very cool and interesting, I'm sure many of you have already seen this during the open house on the monitor screens. This is going back to the stock market activity and statistics. We can see real-time activity of all the searches or any sort of activity that happens on stock market. You can see some big names, GA Telesis, search for part number, whatever, XLF. You can see all the real-time information that gets generated from stock market. And all those numbers that I showed you as far as the daily average searches, vendor info clicks, come from here. So everything's recorded and everything's live. And if anyone wants more information on this, you can talk to me after, or you can talk with any of our panel members as well, and they can give you more information on this as well. Okay. So, just to wrap up the session, some of the key points to take home with you most importantly, what Part Search app is, it lets you list your inventory and capabilities on your website and to receive requests for quotes and purchase orders, again, directly from the site. The service is integrated with Quantum, so everything is in real time, all the activity, and any changes that are made within Quantum is going to automatically reflect within the search feature. The implementation process is very simple and easy. You just let us know that you're interested and you want to test it out. We do everything on our end. We provide you with the link, and if so, we can even implement it for you as well. Again, Part Search app is a great tool to have on your website, most importantly, for buyers to be able to get in contact with you, send your requests, and secondly, to offer some kind of value for customers that are on your website and they come to the website on a daily basis. You want to have a service for them. Now, the other half of the equation, like I mentioned earlier, is to make sure your website receives traffic and you have buyers visiting your website. So by effectively implementing those simple but yet effective techniques, you can ensure that people are visiting your website and they're using the search feature. Again, website is a website is a website. If you have a website and no one's going there, I mean, what's the point of having a website? So you want to make sure you promote it, and anywhere you promote your company, you want to promote your website and Facebook page. And the more you do this, the better you're going to get on your online presence and turning your website into a modern e-commerce marketplace. Now, if anyone wants more information on the service or to see a video, you can click here, go straight back to our company website. And also, to get started with the Part Search app, you can visit our website, fill out the information, and we'll get in contact with you. And please, as a Q Group member, make sure to subscribe to forums and also visit the Q Group website. That's it for the session. I'm going to open it up for some Q&As if anyone has some questions. Any questions on this service? Yes, sir? Sorry, I can't. Yes. Yes, that's something you can do as well. I mean, it depends on how your website, depends on how you like the search feature to be showcased, but that's something you can do as well. But the search feature is a cookie cutter format. So the only thing you can change is the colors of the website. But as far as, you know, the search feature, no, that's something that's cookie cutter format. So, yes, just the colors, that's it. Yeah.
I don't know if I'm on here. Because the Part Search app is a hosted application, hosted by us on, as Maury had shown earlier, we're calling it the Component Control Cloud. And because that application is accessible to any of our customers, as it sits today, we can't host your content. Like if you were to build HTML that you wanted to be custom to you, or you were to build CSS that you wanted to be custom to you, we don't have a mechanism in place today for us to host a different Part Search app for you than for everybody else, which is essentially what you're asking for. But as you and I were talking earlier after the previous presentation, there is a project right now open where we want to be able to give that kind of capability to you, not necessarily to host your CSS file for you, but we're working on rebuilding the back-end technology that the Part Search app uses so that you would be able to reference your own CSS, your own images that don't have to be hosted by us. So I believe that, you know, by the end of this year, I'm expecting to have a newer version of the Part Search app where you will have the flexibility to define your own CSS files and have them applied in the browser of your users. But for today, the skinning capability that Maury is describing, where you can specify a color scheme and link to specific logo files that can be displayed, that's what's available today. And I'm happy to talk to you more about what you'd like to see in terms of ability to apply your own styling based on CSS style sheets. But the part search app that we have in place today doesn't support us hosting a CSS file for you.
Thank you, Cole. Yes.
Excuse me. I'd like to be able to modify the submit RFQ and submit PO forms that you have there to maybe include or not include as much information. Is that something that's going to be a part of this?
Yes. We do require to showcase the RFQ and the purchase order on the site, on the search feature, but if you want to make any changes and you have specific boxes that you want to show, that's something we can absolutely do, yes. You had a second question? Or was it? Okay.
Oh, okay.
So yes, we can modify that for you.
Although, just to make a plug for the next talk, keep in mind that the part search app is intended to be sort of a simple to implement and small footprint for you solution to building an e-commerce site on your website, right? It's hosted by us. You don't have to set up a web server. You don't have to have it all running. And the trade-off is it's very simple and lightweight for you to implement, but it has some limitations because as we host it, we have one service, and if you sign up for that service, you get essentially the same service that everybody else is getting, whereas the Quantum Portal application is much more flexible. It's going to be hosted by you. It's not shared by other users, so you have complete control. And if you've got, potentially a very specialized RFQ process that you need to implement, and it's significantly different from the cookie cutter process that's available in the part search app, we have the Quantum Portal available as a platform for us to build very vendor-specific functionality. And because it's hosted by you, because you have that version of it and nobody else does, we have carte blanche to make it as customized as you'd like, whereas with the cookie cutter approach for the part search app, it's real easy for you to implement, but the trade-off is it's sort of a one-size-fits-all suite of functionality.
And again, for anyone who wants more information on the portal, I encourage them to send in the 1050 session presented by Frank Scales. Is there any other questions for me? Yes.
We're running our quantum databases on terminal servers. Is there a way to execute those QCC files so that they will run into those terminal servers?
Yeah, we actually, after the previous talk, I was talking with Alan from Amatech about that very question. The short answer is, sure, there's a way to do it. The question is how simplistic can we make it so that your users don't have to go through too many steps and don't have to understand too much about what we're asking them to do. I think that internally at Component Control, we've set up a system of map drives off of shared storage so that the user, whether the user is logged into his local desktop or whether the user is logged into a desktop off of a remote desktop server, they're always getting the same set of name drives and not saying this very well, but we script at login time the setup of these network drives so that if I'm working on my laptop and that's where Outlook is, if I save that QCC file to my S drive, and then open up the window to Quantum, which is running off of a Citrix server, a remote desktop server, I can open that from S Drive, and now it's local on the machine where Quantum is running. So it minimizes the amount of moving around files that have to be done, and it doesn't ask your user to understand any more than save it to S Drive and open it from S Drive. So I think that represents a fairly simple way to do it. Although later when Alan walked past me, he was thinking that he may have an even better approach to automating that process even further. But obviously there are challenges because we're talking about one user who sort of feels like he has one session, but in fact he has sessions running on multiple machines. I think that Microsoft Window gives us some flexibility by using shared storage resources to be able to make that easier. And I'm happy to sit and talk with you, after the presentation and see if some of those approaches might work on your system.
We also have some users who will run their Outlook client from the terminal server as well. And so that having the two run on the same session, that will allow them to do that.
If that doesn't work for you,
Oh, yeah.
I think we still have some things that streamline the process a little, but clearly there are challenges there.
Thank you. Is there any other questions? Okay. Perfect. Well, again, thank you so much for participating in this session. If anyone has any questions about stock market or the session, you can grab a business card or you can shoot me an email or talk with any of us after the session. Thank you.
Thank you, Maureen.